Hey Moglets, this is a bit of a different video today, but there's something I wanted to get off my chest. I'm not sure exactly why, but there's been an unusually high amount of hate for our new friend here, Yoimiya. Like, I totally get that, you know, for every new hero, there's a certain group of people, they're loud, they always have to scream one way or the other, way too overpowered or absolute trash. That is quite intentional, they are strong emotions, they get attention, which is ultimately what they're after. But really, like, ever since Yoimiya was announced, it's like a massive storm of negativity surrounding her. And it's just, I don't know, it's kind of ew. I don't really know the right word for it. Disgusting would be too strong, I suppose. I consider myself to be a pretty average player. I do my best to understand a character, what they're capable of, build them to my best abilities, and put them with other characters I think would suit them best. I also try and see the capabilities of all characters, their higher potential, so on and so forth. And what I've seen from Yoimiya so far is that she's not inferior to other heroes. But honestly, the main thing, why I think it's so sad, is because it just spits in the face of those who pulled her and were looking forward to raising her, building her, playing with her, or whatever. And then all these Yoimiya haters are coming out and basically telling you you're stupid for doing that. You're stupid for pulling for her. You're stupid for playing with her. So yeah, I don't know. Like, I mean, it's been that way since Genshin started. Hey, it's been that way since the internet started, and before that also. And yeah, it is what it is, you know? Usually I just ignore it and like, whatever, people have opinions. But like sometimes it's just too much and I want to, you know, share my own opinion. Like at the end of the day, this isn't even a competitive game. I can definitely see where a lot of that stuff is helpful and useful in like, you know, MOBAs or PvP games, right? But like even if Yoimiya was 10% weaker than say Hu Tao, it really doesn't matter. People are out here clearing the hardest content with the quote-unquote worst heroes. Anyway, rant over. I feel better. Though I know at the end of the day it's not going to change anything. I just feel like Genshin actually does balance their heroes decently well, although they did go a little overboard with Zhongli, I gotta say. Half of it is also confusion though, because like, I'm really impressed and surprised by her damage output, where like, yeah, maybe if I really stop to pay attention to every number that pops up, her versus say Hu Tao, which we're going to get into in a second here, then yeah, maybe I can say, oh, actually Hu Tao does kill this enemy, you know, 2 seconds faster. But is that really so much of a big deal that you're gonna scream about it? Well, let's do some tests. I want to be as objective as possible, and of course during my God Mode showcase I was quite shocked at, you know, 65 to 70k basics, just because that is very unusual, you know? Archer basics, like, until Yoimiya, you didn't really do those. I think maybe some Fischls or whatever. But like 70k for doing this? No, of course I was shocked. How that'll actually average out with the lesser non-vaporized attacks, we'll see. When I first played with Yoimiya, I was comparing her to Hu Tao because they do kind of function in a similar way. And Hu Tao is kind of the one they're comparing to, but you know, with the Yoimiya haters, they're like, oh my god, Hu Tao is 5,000% better. Why couldn't she at least be as good as Hu Tao, or what have you? My Hu Tao is pretty good, so she's gonna have some obvious advantages here. All of her skills are at 10. Besides lacking a bit of Elemental Mastery, I know I should really bump that up. The rest of her stats, however, are much better than Yoimiya's. You know, we have 61 Pyro. She could use a little more crit rate, but it doesn't really matter. We're probably only gonna focus on criticals. And while of course her attack is a lot lower, that's just a function of Hu Tao. She has 37k HP. Staff of Homa gives her an attack boost as well as Guide to Afterlife. So the attack Hu Tao would actually have is 4,500. Yoimiya over here has 2,200, and while of course her E doesn't increase her actual stats, just her normal attack damage, so, you know, that's another thing we can't really compare to. Her talents are also not maxed, so that's just something to keep in mind. They are both C0 though. Again, Yoimiya has much more Elemental Mastery, but much lower crit damage and even lower Pyro damage. Just more Elemental Mastery. Yoimiya does have one advantage though that Hu Tao does not. She is able to utilize Bini. Hu Tao needs to stay under 50% HP to be at her potential, so Bini and her don't really work that well together. Hu Tao would do less damage above 50% HP with Bini's boost. I'm gonna stop myself right there. Apparently my Bini is so awesome with his max talent and his nearly 800 base attack that she actually does do more damage with Bini in the team. And apparently the guy we're fighting just doesn't have any resistance because the Viridescent doesn't seem to actually increase her damage at all. So I'm just gonna scrap the like 2 hours of fighting that guy because I specifically used Kazuha with Hu Tao there, And yeah, that just wasn't very fair to Hu Tao. At the end of the day, the only thing that suffers when Hu Tao is above 50% HP is she won't get this 1% from Staff of Homa, which actually isn't as much as it seems. It's about 372 attack bonus. Also, her ult will suffer a little bit, about 120% or so. But there is also the fact that Benny and Hu Tao create 2 pyros, which is pyro resonance, and that's another 25% attack boost. So I decided to fight him just with the same team. It'll make it a bit simpler as well. My best time on this guy was 17 seconds when I had Kazuha in my team. And I mean, Kazuha's a nice support anyway. Even though he wasn't directly increasing Hu Tao's damage, he was doing a lot of damage himself. Most likely more than Benny is increasing Hu Tao's attack because she has to stay above 50% HP. There's just no way around it with how much Benny heals. So we'll do 3 runs with each team and take the best of each time. Yeah, that was about a 17, and that was kind of a sloppy one, honestly. I could probably get a 16. All right, last one here. Jeez. Yeah. I mean, that may have been a 16 if I didn't miss that charged. Being absolutely perfect probably would be a 16, but for the sake of it, let's just move on to Yoimiya. Yeah, there was an 18. I don't know if going to Zhongli to do his ult there at the end actually saved any time, but I believe Yoimiya's E had just run out, so second run now that we have our ult back. Wow, I've never done a 15 before. Okay. Like, really, I do want Yoimiya to be the underdog champion here, but I think we got super lucky on that run, to be perfectly honest. I fought this guy a lot with Yoimiya, you know, in the now dumped recording, and never got a 15, so I don't know what to say about it, but there was that. We can go ahead and do a third just because. Yeah, there was a 16 on the third run. Basically, the point is they're both really good characters, and I like them both, and we'll use them both, and I think everyone should do the same, regardless of what people say. Like, Yoimiya is a good character. I don't know what else to say. This is not the most scientific test. It's not the best test in the world. There are probably different fourth slots besides Benny that might serve Hu Tao a little better. I can't really think of that many, like, you know, some that can make her do more damage, like maybe Mona or whatever, but I think that would still lower the overall time. I think even her ult is good in some cases, but it doesn't shine, especially not right here with a single enemy. It shines a lot more in groups. Like, I can imagine even in some harder levels of Abyss, it could shine pretty nicely. In the current floor 12, on the last floor, there are, you know, a group of 3 robot dudes, and they're pretty close together, and her explosion should hit all of them and do some pretty nice damage. So yeah, her ult, even though it's like not some big flashy thing like Hu Tao's, can still be very useful in the right situation. But yes, I'm done with the little rant, and I guess that, again, sort of unscientific test, but it shows that even though my Hu Tao is quite measurably stronger than my Yoimiya in terms of artifacts and talents, they're still pretty close to one another. If you did happen to pull Yoimiya, enjoy her. Absolutely nothing wrong with it. But that'll do it for today. Make sure to tell me what you think in the comments down below. Dropping a like on this video if you enjoy is always greatly appreciated as well. Thanks, as always, for watching, and until next time.